we learned how to write our equation, right, in vertex form. And we said, for the vertex form, I start with the vertex general form, right? And then I need the vertex, and I need another point to solve for A. Do you guys remember that from the last unit?
No. I'm being honest.
I know. And I know that probably by the end of the semester you guys won't remember anything.
No.
But
Yeah,
hopefully you
understand why it's so important
Hope that
in
passes.
life. You know what I'm saying?
Just continue.
Like, when have you ever used it?
Just continue.
I use it on a daily basis. Anyway.
That's your job. That's your
It's my
job.
job.
It's your job. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Yo.
All right. Now, we're going to learn how to find the equation, but this time, instead of using the vertex form, we're going to learn how to use the factored form. Okay? Because we want to know where our bridge is going to touch the ground. Because we want to know where our, whatever it is, the cannon is going to touch the ground and what building is going to hit. Because we want to know all of these things, the rocket when it goes and lands on the ground. I don't know. They use it. Scientists do use it, and then people who talk about, I don't know, things. Anyway, so you want to know where it lands. Okay? And that's when the equation, the factored form, is important. All right. Now, to use the factored form, I need to know the zeros. Because we just learned that the factored form gives me the zeros.
Run me one.
I think I'm going to start subtracting marks.
You should.
Ah.
That's what I was saying.
All right. Now, what are my zeros for this graph? What are my zeros?
Minus 3 and 1.
Negative 3 and 1. Good. So these zeros. Eyes on me, please. Because I know the zeros, I want to use the factored form. And the factored form is y equals a. X minus r, x minus s. If you don't know what it is, it's on the wall. It's on that pink sheet on the wall. Okay? Whatever you're lost and you don't know what the factored form is, you come here and you look at it. Okay? So you start with the general form, and then you're going to for r and s. So these are your zeros. Okay? So I'm going to plug in negative 3 for r, so that's going to be y equals a, x minus negative 3. Are we okay with that part? So the minus is in the equation, and r is already a negative, so I have to put a negative 3. No, it's not, because we did that in the vertex form as well. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Okay, guys, I'm recording, just so you know. Okay, the equation is x minus r and x minus s. So that minus right here is coming from the equation, right? So I wrote that minus because it's coming from the equation. My 0 is a negative 3, right? So because it's a negative 3, I have to write as a negative 3. So what happens when I have two negatives right after each other? They become positive. I'm showing them how it becomes positive. How about for the second one? It's x minus, and then my s is 1, so I'm going to just write x minus 1. So now, because I have two negative, I have to simplify that to x plus 3, x minus 1. Now I want you to think for a second. Okay? What would be your zeros from this? If you're going to look at this, what would be your zeros? Negative 3 and positive 1, right? That's what I had. If that doesn't, if when you actually set it equal to 0 and you don't end up with the same zeros, that means you've done something wrong. Go back and check your work. Okay? Now what else do I need to look for? Can I leave it as y equals a x plus 3 x minus 1? No. What do I have to do?
Look for x.
Find another point, x and y, to solve for a. A has to be a value. A cannot be a letter A. Okay? I need to know what A is. So, I need to find another point other than the zeros. So, any other point on the graph that's clear, you're going to have to use it. So, they gave me a point here. They gave me 0, 6. Right? So, I'm going to use that to solve for A. So, you see that this point here, which is 0, 6, can be replacing x and y. Right? So, I'm going to take the x and the y. I'm going to plug in 0 for x. I'm going to plug in 6 for y. So look at this. Y is 6. X is 0. That's the letter A. That's not 9. Now what do you do now? Brackets? You don't FOIL. What's 0 plus 3? What's 0 minus 1? Negative 1. Okay. Good. So we simplified the brackets. What do you want to do next? Multiply what by what? Yeah. So 3 times negative 1, right? What's 3 times negative 1? Negative 3. So that's negative 3a, right? Because a times 3 times negative 1. So that's negative 3. Yes?
And then you divide it?
Divide by what?
-3.
Yes, because you want a by itself. That's the whole idea. You're solving for a. You want a by itself. So you're going to divide by negative 3 because there is a multiplication. So 6 divided by negative 3. What's 6 divided by negative 3? Negative 2. So a is negative 2. And look at this. Y equals negative 2, because a is negative 2. X plus 3. X minus 1. Is this factored form for you? Yeah? What are your zeros from that factored form? Negative 3 and 1. Which way does it open? Down, because what? A is negative. Does that make sense? Does it match the graph that you have seen up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to. Otherwise, you've done something wrong. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to let you work on your